I just had the craziest conversation with my dad. I went in to give him his anxiety meds because it was time for that. He asked me about his wife, my mother. He's only been married once. I said, Dad, she died in 2017. He started bawling, which confused me because I always thought he held a lot of animosity towards her for leaving him with 4 kids. She just took off. Well, abandoned us and he had to come get us. That's a whole different story. But he always seemed, when I was younger, like angry towards her. Now, I will say growing up, he never, not once, talked bad about her. At least not to me, because I know there was a few times I'd ask questions about her. And the only thing he ever said was, you'll see. You'll see. Never said anything bad about her. Nothing, never brought her up. Nothing. You know, when I turned 13 and everybody told him that I needed a woman in my life, that I was way too boyish, that if they didn't get me away from around all the men, I was going to turn gay, da 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 da. Well, as you see, I got kids. I wasn't gay. Well, I'm not gay. But, so he hunted her down, took me to her, but he never talked bad about her. So, seeing him, I asked him a question. I was like, is she the first woman you ever loved? Because he got with her late in life. I'm his first kid, and he had me at 34. And then the 4 of us, basically, like, I was born in 74, the youngest was born in 79, so. And he was like, yeah, she's actually the only woman I actually really had a steady date with. I was like, okay. He still thought I was somebody else. I was just conversating, and he was like, I can't believe my daughter's mother is dead, and just started crying. So I just sat there and held him. So now, what I thought was animosity all these years, angry towards her, he was hurt. He's still hurt by that. That explains why the whole time we were growing up, never seen him date, never had women around us. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Even when we got older and we all left, never seen him date, never seen him with a woman, take a woman on a date, nothing. So this whole conversation I just had with him just kind of threw me for a loop, but I understand now that it wasn't animosity he was holding towards her. She was the first one he ever fell in love with late in life, but still, and it hurt him. Rightfully so. When you're almost 40 years old and you're stuck with kids from 3.5 years old all the way to a newborn, well, 4 down to a newborn. I can see that. It just hurts me to see him hurt, because it's like telling him for the first time, and because I know when he was with it and she found out she passed away, he didn't show any emotions. But he's not growing up, he never really showed emotions at all. Only thing I ever knew about him is from being in Wisconsin, in the foster system in the 40s, because his mom, which had him late in life, she was 41 when she had him, and she passed away from TB, which us older generation knows what that means. And then when he took 14, he just took off and started drifting from county to county to state until he ended up in Florida in the 70s and met my mom and had us. That's about all I really knew, so I felt bad that he just heard that. But it's amazing how that mind works when you have dementia delirium. It's like telling them things for the first time. But I just sat there I held his hand, I prayed with him, and when I prayed with him, he seemed to, you know, relax. You heard him take a deep breath, and next thing you know, snapped out of it for a second, knew who I was, and told me he loved me, and went to sleep. But yeah, I love my dad, but I don't like saying but. It's just that I'm learning a lot about him because he's telling a whole lot of secrets that we never knew, or I never knew. I don't know if the boys ever knew any of that, or I was just so naive and content that I was with my dad that I didn't really pay attention to things around me. I don't know, but Jesus is good. I held his hand, prayed with him, and he calmed down, snapped out of it, and knew who I was, and talked to me, and then told me he loved me, and then went back to sleep. Oh, the conversations I have with my dad. Love y'all.